Beaver Dam Area Community Theater. You can listen to them on 95.3 WBEV, or you can watch them live on Daily Dodge TV, where they will be showcasing different videos as well as, talking live on the air. Corey, take it away.
Thank you, Charlie. Welcome to today's Community Comment. I'm your host, Corey Sparks, and joining me today is the Beaver Dam Area Community Theater. Liz Darner and Diane Lutz are with me for the first half. We'll have a couple guests for the second half. How are you both doing today?
Just great.
Great.
Thank you.
Awesome. Sounds like we're getting a little snow tomorrow, so it looks like you lucked out and you came in on Monday and not Tuesday, which was great scheduling on your part.
Perfect. We thought ahead.
Absolutely. So we will start by talking, there's a lot to do and a lot to really get involved with at the community theater over the course of the next couple of months. I'm sure you could both agree with that. Upcoming auditions for Brand New Life are coming up fast, just next week. Did you want to talk a little bit about that?
No, that's my.
Oh, yep.
You can talk to.
Or I'm sorry, yep.
First.
We will go, we'll start with the Fire and Ice concert series. So January 13th, 7 p.m. Doors are opening at 6 in the campus auditorium. All reserved seating, $20. Can you kind of give us a brief synopsis on what that's going to look like?
Sure. So that's this Saturday, and the music's going to start at 7 o'clock. And opening the show, we've got a local performer named Whitney Rose, who is a solo singer-songwriter, and she also performs some really cool cover songs as well. But I'm hoping she sings a lot of her original music, which is really insightful and soulful. And then Orlando Pena and the Midnight Purchase are from Milwaukee, and they are also a very soulful band as well. We're gonna come one as a group this Saturday and just enjoy some great music.
Absolutely. And for those of you listening on 95.3 WBV, powered by Daily Dodge, at our 1 o'clock break, where we go from half one to half two in Community Comment, you can hear Orlando Pena. They did an acoustic set here last Friday, so you can enjoy that as a part of the break. In terms of just setting up this whole event and kind of getting these two parties together for the concert series, could you kind of go through that process?
Well, sure. So this is our 4th season of Fire and Ice, and back in 2019, the Beaver Dam Area Community Theater approached us. We're the Horicon Phoenix program. Because of our summer concert series that we do in Horicon, they enjoyed what we do, the local performers that we bring, and decided we should bring some music to the theater. And so every year, Christine Schmitz and Christine is our president, and I'm the executive director. We curate a 3-date music series for the theater, and we like to bring in some Wisconsin musicians that maybe haven't played at the park before. Sometimes we bring back some of our favorites that haven't played for a little while. We also like to showcase some local performers as well. So, for example, in February on the 17th, we have another show where we are featuring Elwood Lee and Mike Roddy opening as a duo. There are local hometown musician heroes. And then Old Soul Society is playing as well. They're Americana folk, and they played our summer concert series last year.
Oh, nice. I was just going to ask if you had any staples that kind of return, so that kind of answers my question there.
We like to switch it up, but we do also have our favorites. It's hard to choose because our list of musicians and bands is a long list. So actually, this weekend we're going to sit down and start planning our summer concert series. So
nice. That's very fun.
Yeah.
Especially once we're about to have what looks like 7 or 8 inches of snow. It's good to think about summer by any means necessary,
Yes.
right? On that list of musicians, is there anybody who kind of makes a decent trip to come here from far away at all?
We get some musicians that come from Stevens Point area.
Okay.
McHenry, Illinois. This summer we had a band from Cincinnati.
Nice.
So it just depends. We've seen a lot of bands, and particularly at Mile of Music, we get to know bands from farther reaches, but we do really try to focus on Wisconsin regional bands, especially those that play original music. So.
Yeah. That kind of leads into the next question I had too, in terms of just outreach. So you go to Mile of Music, and then are you kind of just like cold calling or emailing certain bands and asking if they'd like to take advantage of this opportunity, or how does finding that talent work?
Right. So it's largely based on who we've been seeing, also who other people have been seeing and are interested in. And then, yes, we reach out to see if they're available. We have a limited budget, so we have to make sure those musicians are going to fit in our budget as well. Some of our favorites have gotten too big for our budget, so and that's always really fun to see, though. So
Yeah, they kind of get their start with you and then
Yes.
gain some recognition and kind of move on. I'm
Right.
sure you guys still keep in touch, but like you said, to the point where, all right, they've got to go somewhere else and kind of continue to project their talent.
right, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Any kind of, I don't want you to spoil too much because, of course, the promotion is to get people to go, but Orlando Pena and the Midnight Purchase, what could people kind of expect in terms of their style of play, their music, and what they bring to the table?
Soulful Americana, a little bit of rock, just really talented musicians. Orlando's got a great voice and a great presence. And always these talented artists bring talented musicians in their bands as well. Some of them play in multiple other bands, and they just, they know their craft.
Yep.
And that's one of the things we appreciate about bands like this.
Was there a certain something that kind of stuck out when you were coordinating with Orlando and them in terms of getting them to perform for this concert?
You know what? I actually have not personally seen them in concert
okay.
yet, so this is going to be my first,
Yeah,
and I'm
that'll be
excited
exciting.
about it. But people that we know and respect have great things to say about this band and have seen them a lot, and I guess that was our influence for choosing them. So.
Absolutely. And then you said with HorrorCon, it's your fourth season kind of putting together these different types of series.
For Fire and Ice.
For Fire and Ice.
In HorrorCon, it's been more than 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did Fire and Ice kind of come about?
Well, as I said earlier, the theater, I think Kim Doyle, she attends our summer concerts.
Right.
And she just approached us and said, hey, we'd like to bring more music to the theater. And so Christine and I decided a series would be a good thing to do and created the name. And then their talented graphic designer created those graphics, which I love. She's really good, Laura Congdon. She's, and that's how it came about. You know, of course, we had to skip 2020, and then 2021 was a little funky.
Yeah, so
But
getting back.
We're
Yeah.
back in the groove now, so.
Yeah, I'm glad you shouted out the graphic design. I was taking a look at that before we met today, and I'm like, this is giving me like kind of a Hunger Games feel.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it really
I
gets you in the
know.
mood for it, right? For sure. So this Saturday, 7 p.m., doors open at 6. All reserved seating is $20 in the Camps Auditorium. Any final pitch or last information that people should know before the show?
Just come and enjoy. You can sit in your seats. You can stand up and dance. There's full bar and some snacks at the concession. So just come enjoy a real listening experience versus sitting in a bar where everybody's talking behind you. So that's
Absolutely.
what we like about the theater.
Awesome. And then you said there's another show individuals should know about in February, right?
Yep, February 17th, also a Saturday. Same deal, it's $20. Mike Roddy and Elwood Lee are opening for Old Soul Society.
All right. So if anybody unfortunately cannot make it this Saturday, there's another opportunity in about 5 weeks. Awesome.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Liz. We'll move on to you, Diane, in terms of upcoming auditions for Brand New Life, and
Yes.
that is January 14th through the 16th, and the show is on April 5th. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I can tell you about the show. It's a brand new musical. Brand New Life is a brand new musical. It's never been performed before. And I happened to read the script actually over a year ago, and I really liked it. And I hadn't heard any of the music, so I pursued it through the playwright, and so that's how I got connected with the composer. Lori Brooks is the playwright. Paul Carroll Binkley is the composer. Lori works out of Portland, Oregon. I first started doing some of her work when she was still in New York. But Paul is from Nashville. He's very well known. He does a lot of music for theaters. And when I asked her to send the music, I immediately fell in love with it. It's very different. From its official title, full-length title, Brand New Life, a Dust Bowl Musical, it tells you right away the time period, and it definitely indicates what kind of struggles, the conflicts that these people are going through at the time. Some people, I'm sure, I know are familiar with Grapes of Wrath, but also maybe another play called Rainmaker. And the basic plot of Brand New Life is this family that refuses to leave Oklahoma and go to California like so many families did. But it's not an easy decision, and the biggest conflict comes for Ellie. She's the 18-year-old daughter, and she feels as though it's her responsibility because the father has left. They don't know why Dad has left. He's actually gone off to find work. So Ellie feels this burden, and she takes it all on herself. And I won't give away much more.
Right. Yeah.
But let me tell you this: that it's not a downer. It's a play about family. It's a play about hope. It's a play about determination, and it's very uplifting. And as I said, I heard the music and I fell in love with it. And knowing Lori pretty well, she said, Paul and I could come to Beaver Dam if you want us to. So with auditions on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of this coming week, 14, 15, and 16, that's when we begin the process of putting this production together. The very first week of rehearsals will be the first full week of February. So on those first 3 rehearsals, Paul and Lori will be here to work with the cast and the musicians, which I think is an awesome opportunity for community theater. First, just an honor for me to be directing something that's never been directed before, but also I am so happy for the theater because this is a once-in-a-lifetime kind of situation where both the playwright and the composer are there to help people along. It's given you a bit about the storyline, but the music is, I think you might compare it with country rock.
Okay.
Our vocal director, Marsha Paul, said something that, Eagles or a female artist, maybe Carrie Underwood. So it, for lack of a better way to say it, it doesn't sound like a typical Broadway musical. But the songs themselves, some are very uplifting. There's some beautiful ballads, beautiful duets between the mother and Ellie because the mother is about to have a baby, and she's worried that this baby won't survive because the conditions, the
Right.
times. And the father has a beautiful ballad where he talks about, I can't let my family see me cry. I've got to do something to help them. And some really fun songs. Now, one of the songs in there is by a real-life character named Jimmy Doolittle. If we have any aviators listening in and watching, Jimmy Doolittle broke a lot of speed records during the time of the Depression. And he appears because the dust has brought his plane down. But he has this great song called Greed. And it's a very fun song. I want to tell you that both Lori and Paul submitted this song. There's a special conference going on in Atlanta for new musicals. It's the middle of March. And they submitted 2 songs. And of the around 200, maybe 190 songs were submitted, Greed was one of the 10 that they chose.
Oh, wow.
Because
Okay.
they found it very interesting, very different, very unique. And so they're excited about going to Atlanta in the middle of March to talk about greed.
Yeah.
Which I don't think there's any in the world today, but maybe there is. Never mind. I
Right.
didn't say
Controversial
that, did I?
statement. No, I'm just kidding. No, of course.
Getting real political.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't mean to do that. But let me tell you about the characters
Yeah.
in Brand New Life. There are 4 women, 5 men, and 1 child. Ellie is 18 years old, and she's the one that I said was basically the main character of this production. And her little brother Robert, who's 10 years old, who wants to be called Tex instead of Robert. The 2 of them go off to find their father because it's been 3 days, he hasn't reappeared. Mama, I mentioned, and Daddy, their parents. And then Cole Rundle is a very important character. He is a man who at the very beginning of the musical shows up and says he can make it rain, which there were so many people during that time who said, hey, give me some money and I can make it rain. The interesting thing here is a little extra conflict is Cole and Ellie seem to take a liking to each other, but Cole is basically kind of a con man, so that creates conflict. Other characters, Tom and Maisie Kelly, they're other folks who live nearby, and Jimmy Doolittle, I mentioned, the pilot, and Ernest is a man that Ellie meets along the way in her pursuit of her father, and he is a homeless man from Illinois who's trying to make his way back to his family. And the great conversation between the 2 of them is that he's a very important character. He helps Ellie understand why her father left them at
Right.
that point. And so that's a great, it's kind of the soul of the whole musical message there of family and understanding and hope. And then the last character, Ma Blackburn, she's, I just reread the Ma Blackburn scene right before I came, and she's this wonderful old lady who's all alone by a campfire, and she also has the sight. I didn't mention that, but Ellie and Ma Blackburn have the sight. They see things that other people cannot. And so Ma Blackburn gives Ellie hope that things are going to turn out. And Ma Blackburn sings a great song called "Hope is the Yeast That Rises the Bread." So it's so unique. It's so different from a lot of other musicals, but the things that Laurie writes are different. And I think I'm honored to be the first main stage production of the 60th season. I've been involved with community theater, since the summer of 1983. So I've been around a long time, but I have to be honest, every time I approach a production, I'm excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
And think that this is going to be the best, or I've never felt this excited before, but each time I do another production, I'm even more excited than the last time, so.
You mentioned that the music selection really grabbed you from the start, but
Absolutely.
then it's really interesting because when you bring up anything that's related to the Dust Bowl, you're expecting to see hardship, and I'm sure there is a reflection of that in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. For example, the opening number, and I know you have it running on, I think it's on Daily Dodge, Brand New Life. That's the opening, and everybody is so excited to move off to Oklahoma. The next number is If It Rains, and that takes place in the middle of the Depression. So it goes from that moment of hope, and then with the interesting musical interlude, it flows right into the middle of the Depression, and now we need to make it rain.
Yeah.
But there's some beautiful songs that, there are songs that every time I listen to it, I cry a little bit. I don't, put my head down and weep away, but I've listened to it for about a year now, so I'm getting over that.
Yeah, the initial shock, right?
Yeah, but the mother is pregnant and she's worried that this baby won't survive, and it's a beautiful little song, Tiny Baby. A wide variety of songs, and I want to repeat that it's a family show, and it's a show about family, about hope, about determination, and I just love it, and I can't wait to, create it. To Beaver Dam Community Theater put their signature on this brand new musical.
Well, and Diane, I think there's a real unique opportunity for people coming to see this too. Not only do they get to see another musical, but you mentioned it's family oriented.
Yep.
There might be children going there kind of learning about this event
Right.
in depth for the first time, right?
Right,
Yeah.
The Dodge County Center for the Arts is going to have, I believe, what they call a pop-up exhibit
Okay.
in March about the Dust Bowl. I've contacted some high school instructors and also an art instructor from the middle school, Chris Schumacher Rasmussen, who has Art on the Town, and they want to do something that connects the arts, the music, the theater, and then the visual arts.
Yeah.
So it's a happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you
About to
recall?
happen.
Yeah. Can you recall any past musicals that you've directed or that the community theater has put on that are kind of related? I'm new here in Beaver Dam, so I'm not going to be able to recall them,
Absolutely.
right? That are historical related, like springing off a certain event, or if it's not on the event, it's in a certain era, and it kind of like highlights that frame of time, if that makes sense.
Not necessarily a musical that
Okay.
that I can think of right away, but in 2009, I directed a production of Triangle, which is historical representation of the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire in New York City. And that was so exciting to do, so fun to do, and that was also written by Laurie Brooks. And as I said, her works are so unique that it's fun to work with them. It's a big challenge to work with them because it's not all spelled out in the script. This is what you do here, and this is how you do it, and don't stray from that. It gives me a lot of flexibility. It gives a director a lot of flexibility. How to create my own vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm very excited about it. Maybe you can tell.
Yeah, no, I could tell you're very enthusiastic about it. We have a few more minutes before our first break here on Community Comment. A question that kind of comes to mind is the time frame. So you have rehearsals, or excuse me, you have auditions coming up 14th through the 16th. The show is on April 5th. What does the rehearsal schedule kind of look like when you map it out for the next 10 weeks? How often? What's going to be worked
Sure.
on? Yeah.
Right. As I said earlier, our first week of rehearsals we begin on February 5th, that Monday, for rehearsals. Paul and Lori will be here and working with the cast and the musicians. And our general rehearsal schedule is going to be 4 days a week. And it'll be either Monday through Thursday, or if the cast prefers a Sunday night, I know in years gone by I've done Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, and then Thursday. But basically 4 days a week, starting February 5th.
Awesome. When you look at like the set design aspect, what stages are you in terms of that? And I guess what does that look like going forward in the coming weeks?
Okay.
Yep.
Patrick Lutz is the set designer, and he's already started working on that. As soon as we decide on a production, he gets going right away. Understand that the way the script is structured, it's not the kind of situation where you close the curtain or you bring in a lot of different pieces. It's got to be very fluid, and the transitions from scene to scene I call seamless, and lighting will help with that. Very minimal props, minimal set pieces. Really, it's the open prairie. And there's very little on that open prairie during the 1930s. You look at pictures and it's piles of sand, and Patrick already has ideas of how we're going to, as the musical progresses, how the sand dunes are going to get larger and larger. We have the use of, he's planning to use burlap for staging. As I said, very minimal, and of course he's going to build a windmill. So he did that for me when we did My Antonia many years ago. So he's a very creative guy, and I'm glad to be his partner in crime.
Yeah, absolutely. So really highlighting the fact that obviously there's a lot of vacancy there, not just literally but figuratively as well, right?
Right. Yeah. It's the set is minimal, as I said, and representational, and so what it really does is focuses on the songs and the actors. You know, the set certainly enhances things, but a lot will depend on those characters. So that's why I'm excited to have auditions on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Along with those 10 characters, Ellie, Robert, Mama, Roy, Cole, Tom, Maisie, Jimmy Doolittle, Ernest, and Ma Blackburn, there will be an ensemble, an additional 8 to 10 people.
Okay.
Because there are a number of large ensemble numbers that we just want to fill the house with those. So, and I know some people have said, I want to be in the ensemble. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But those other roles, they're really quite wonderful, really quite interesting.
Is this story based on a specific family? Like obviously the Dust Bowl happened, but did this happen with a certain family, or is it more so this is a slice of life, what it would have looked like during this time period?
It would be a slice of life.
Okay, gotcha.
And sadly, it's still kind of desolate when you travel through that area, because this is a lot of the Texas and Oklahoma panhandle. And when my husband and I had a brief 7 years in Arizona, driving back and forth to Wisconsin, we drove right through what was that was the heart of the Dust Bowl. And yet talking with people from Nebraska, just a couple nights ago, he said, yeah, it hit my hometown. I have pictures of my grandparents in that situation. My husband also is really into history, and he said that the dust from the Dust Bowl reached as far east as New York.
Oh, wow.
So this is, it was such a troubling time, and this shows the slice of that life, but it also shows the resilience, the determination, the strength of a lot of these people had, because they came for a better life, and I think they were determined to find that, to work through this trouble.
Yeah, you talked about the layers of a lot of the cast. Is there a certain character, I'm going to put you on the spot here,
Sure.
that you really enjoy that sticks out from the most? Is it Ellie? Is it one of the people who kind of gives her a different angle of life along the way? If you had to pick one that really intrigues you, maybe even right now as you're looking over the script, who would that be?
Beyond Ellie. Does that mean I'm taking two?
Yeah,
Beyond
sure.
Ellie, it would be Ma Blackburn.
Okay.
Because I just love how, first of all, the interaction between Ma Blackburn and Ellie, and Ma Blackburn and those men who have followed her. Jimmy Doolittle appears, her little brother, and then Cole, the rainmaker. They've followed her because they want her to be safe. And just the way she talks to those men, leave us alone here. I'm talking to Ellie here now.
Yeah.
She shows a great deal of strength. And I love her song. It's very different from all the other songs in the musical. It's almost gospel-like. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Unfortunately, we do have to take a quick break, and then we'll be back for the second half of Community Comment. As a reminder, the Fire and Ice concert series will be this Saturday at 7 p.m. at the Camps Auditorium, $20 for reserved seating. Thank you again, Liz, for coming in.
Thank you.
And thank you, Diane, for highlighting what should be, you've got me excited for it. I will probably end up going,
Good.
yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, right. That is the goal. Auditions for Brand New Life, January 14th through the 16th, and then we look ahead at April 5th for the show. That'll do it for the first half of Community Comment. We'll be back in a few minutes on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge and Daily Dodge TV.
Hello, my name is Orlando Pena. This is my buddy Jake Stanzer. We play in a band called The Midnight Purchase from Milwaukee. We're going to play some songs for you guys today. This first one's a newest single we just released. It's called All I Can Do. Unkempt, a breakfast of 2 cigarettes, and no thought of tomorrow. Reckless, a slave to the spirits. I was damn near feral. I was running wild, yeah, and it was all I could do. Ooh, yes. No one to answer to. Oh, yeah, I will. When I was better at home, well, she ate to her bones to harbor life. She might be right, yeah, so it was all I could do. Ooh, yes, to go and find myself a muse. Whoa, and yeah, my head was in a bowl. and the kids are off to college soon. My love, you filled me up, gave me a purpose through, and now it's all I can do. Ooh, yes, to grow old away you.
If it rains, cries of joy will fill the plains. If it rains, no more sorrow, no more pain. If it rains, I will dance the whole night through. Hallelujah. If it rains, up your soul. Listen, children. If it rains, will make you.
And we'll go back into community comment as Corey Sparks is joined by David Allen Smith and members of the Beaver Dam Area Community Theater. Corey, take it away.
Welcome back to today's community comment. We are in for the second half of today's programming on 95.3 WBEV and Daily Dodge TV. I'm Corey Sparks, and with me now is the BDACT Managing Director, David Allen Smith, and President of the Board of Directors, Emily Shire. How are you both doing?
Great. Thanks for having us this afternoon.
Of course, of course. So second half of the programming here, we begin with an upcoming annual meeting. David, you said that's something that obviously happens every single year.
Yes.
What's on the agenda for that, and what does that kind of look like?
Well, that's kind of a board function, so I'll
Yep,
let
absolutely.
Emily tell you.
Emily? Mhm.
So we have a board of directors of 13 people, a really active board of directors, and we meet monthly. The board typically, they have a term of 3 years, and that can be repeated for another 3 years. So a couple of the things that happen at our annual event is that we, as a nonprofit organization, we need to meet annually to vote on certain topics, any changes to our bylaws or our operations. And so that happens once a year. It's in our bylaws that that needs to be the first weekend of February. And then we'll also have an open vote for a new board member. So we have one person that is completing his 6th year on the board. That's Mike Durr. He's been an extremely valuable member of our board of directors. He was the board president during COVID. We had a lot of Zoom meetings during that time, a lot of important decisions about how to keep our patrons safe, our audience members safe, our guests on our cruise safe. And then he is also an active member of our finance committee. So Mike will stay involved with BDACT, Beaver Dam Area Community Theater, after he steps off of the board. But then, of course, that will leave a vacancy. So we have a nominating committee that has already delivered a name that has accepted a nomination to the Board of Directors, and that anyone else who is interested in being nominated or nominating themselves can come at that annual meeting and give a few words about themselves, and then that membership will have an opportunity to vote in that new board member. So we will recognize Mike as he's stepping off. We will give an annual report of our finances, which is always a riveting discussion.
Oh, yes.
And so our board treasurer, Chris Conity, and Mike, as a member of the finance committee, and some of our other committee members will have that already prepared and give paper copies to the membership regarding that. Our annual budget will be hopefully voted in, or at least voted upon. And then we also give a recap of the year and then a projection of the year going forward. And that's something that our managing director, David Allen Smith, and also our other staff person is Kim Doyle. They put together a conglomeration, and then David has a managing director report every single month that he gives the board that we review on the operations of the community theater and our facility, and he'll give us a recap of that at that time. So a lot of wonderful things. We try to make it as fun and interesting and delicious as possible.
Oh, okay.
So one of the benefits of some of our patrons, depending on their giving level, is a free ticket to our annual event. The last few years we've done a brunch, and that is being catered by Bent Spork again this year out of Waupun. And so Chef Kylie is putting together a lovely brunch menu for us. And then tickets are available for that as well for folks who don't receive a free ticket as part of their patron giving level. They can purchase a ticket through our website or our ticket office, our box office, to have brunch and enjoy some entertainment at our annual event this year.
Awesome. It's really a full slate of events there. You mentioned Mike being on the board the last 6 years through COVID. I'm sure he's going to be a real valuable asset just to have around for whoever that new board member ends up being.
100%. And his skills have been, in finance. He has a law degree. We have all of our board of directors are volunteers, and so we have a really beautiful variety of people. Some are actors and set builders, and some are in finances. We have a few executive directors of nonprofit organizations, which BDACT is also. We have folks who have been directors in the theater, our other volunteers. So, and then other professions, people who are in medicine, who are in our school teachers. So we want to keep it as diverse as we can. We want it to be representative of the community, and certainly of the community theater. So it's a big commitment, 3 to 6 year commitment, and it's more than just meeting once a month for a few hours. It's helping to make decisions, to envision the future of our community theater. And as you may have heard or probably already know, we're celebrating a big anniversary this year. So we've had people serve on our board since our founding members, and this particular board right now has a responsibility to celebrate all of the work that's been done over the last 60 years. So it's a big task, and we hope
60's
to do
big,
a good
too.
job of it.
Yeah. So with that, I'll flip it over to you, David. We turn the calendar to 2024. A lot to look back on in the 59th season. What were some highlights?
We started out the year by hosting the statewide Wisconsin Association of Community Theaters Festival, and we had theaters from around the state come and compete. And then, as it turned out, we got called a few weeks later, and they had to make a venue change, and they asked if we would also host the regional. So we did that, and we had theaters from 5 states come here. So that was a really great way to kick off our year and get started. We added a few things last year in 2023. We already had the One Voice Children's Choir, the chorus. We also had, we had just started in 22 the class act, which is the acting class for elementary kids. And so this in 23, we added a group called Acting Up. It's junior high kids that are taking acting classes. So there's lots of that going on. The Paddle City Big Band is a recurring part of our repertoire. We added that in 2022, and every concert, the audiences get bigger and bigger. That's a wonderful group of local jazz band teachers and musicians. They do wonderful concerts. And then, of course, we have our regular series of things. We have our Telltale shows, we have our main stage shows, we have our area high school musical. We ended the year with our In Hindsight variety show, Judy Hines' show that she puts together every few years, and COVID kind of threw a wrench in that last time she started, so this one was 4 years in the making, but that show turned out very well. There was just a lot going on, a lot happened, and of course for the 60th year we've turned it up to 11, so we've got more.
There we go.
More going on.
Lots of growth. You mentioned the regional competition being hosted at your venue. How much do you think that helped the BDACT just in terms of recognition, bringing new faces in?
It helped with the reputation. The event went off without a hitch. It was great. The different theater groups that came there to perform all felt at home, and we got to meet lots of people. And I mentioned to them, and also at the regional event, that oftentimes when you go to an event like this, there's people you're going to meet from community theaters who may never be in your home again. They'll never be in your theater space again. They're in their space, and their life takes us in different directions. But for the moment they're there, we're all one family. And so theater's a small world. Community theater's a small world. I have run into people 20 years later. In fact, at the first festival in January, one of the judges came from Wyoming. And I didn't recognize the name right away. It's a fairly common name like mine, David Smith. And I was introduced to him, and he said, "You look familiar." And I said, "Yeah, you look familiar to me too, but that's the way theater is."
Right.
And we walked away, and maybe 10 minutes later, we both came back and we went, 1989, summer stock theater in northern Wisconsin, when we were both just getting started in our careers. We hadn't seen each other in that many years, 30 years. And here we were back together again.
Full circle,
in
right?
In a different place, but still doing theater. So theater's kind of like that. So you make friends at these festivals. I think it helped us a lot regionally. We actually had a regional festival in Illinois call and ask if we would bring our show to perform down there. So we did that. They were the only show that wasn't spoken in Hindi. It was actually done in English, and so the audience there for that festival really enjoyed and appreciated that. So, yeah, I think it helped us a lot. I think it helped our reputation, and we're very involved in the American Association of Community Theaters, and so, yeah, it's a good thing.
Successful 2023. You alluded to this before. You're very excited for 2024. What are some events that individuals can look forward to?
Well, we decided to go big.
Yeah.
You can go big or go home when it's the 60th anniversary. We actually have some people involved in Beaver Dam Area Community Theater who were there at the beginning in 1964. I was talking to Annette Camps last night about that, and I said, if someone would have come back from the future, from 2024, and told you what this theater was going to be like in 60 years, would you have believed it? She said, never. Couldn't have imagined this beautiful fine arts center and the things we're doing. But we chose some names you'll probably know for a bunch of the shows. We are kicking it off with Brand New Life, which is a world premiere, which is wonderful to do a world premiere. Because in the future, when this show is done in other places, this inside cover of the script will say, debuted Beaver Dam Area Community.
More
Theater
recognition,
on this date
right?
and time. So
Yep.
that's wonderful. But it does give us a chance to create some characters that are just on paper right now, which is great. And then we are going to have our summer high school musical is Anastasia. And that's always a big draw. People love to come see that. Our Telltale Theater shows this year are shows you may have heard of. We're doing Grease. And we're doing Finding Nemo Jr., so people know those shows. In the fall, we're doing Lumberjacks in Love. And along the way, we're throwing in some other surprises. We've got ABBA Mania performing in May, just before Mother's Day. Usually only in much, much larger houses. You have to go to Milwaukee to see something like this, but they will be here thanks to a very generous donor. And then that's the Folks Foundation. I can tell you they're sponsoring that show. Also, we have four Guys in Dinner Jackets, which is kind of a 60s doo-wop group out of Milwaukee. They've been around for 20 years. They'll be performing in September. We brought back our Murder Mystery Dinner Theater, which we initiated last year for the first time. We scheduled 3 shows. It sold out. We added a 4th show. That sold out. So we have 5 performances of that one coming
Nice.
up this year. Of course, our children's chorus, One Voice. Of course, our class act is doing a show called A Mixed Up Fairy Tale. That's coming up in March. And other surprises that will be announced as we go along. But we have a very, very, very full season, a lot for people to see, a lot of family-oriented shows, and a ton of music this year. Lots of music. All these shows have music in them, so.
Something that sticks out to me when both of you are talking about the BDACT is preparation. You have pretty much the full slate of events already laid out for 2024. When did the initial planning phases happen for everything you just mentioned? How far ahead is that?
More than a year ago.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So really
It's
thinking
a
ahead.
year. We have to get royalties and rights. Some shows are
Got it.
available, aren't available. We have to secure that. We have to do all the budget work, because sure, it would be great to do certain shows, but the budget's just out of
Right.
reach. So we have to do that. We have to get sponsors lined up. We have to apply for grants. We have to get people willing to be donors, and a big patron drive we have every year. Oh, almost forgot. We're having a big fundraiser, a Vegas night, February 10th. And we have a casino set up in Encore Hall upstairs. You can come up, play some casino games, and play for prizes up there. Tony Rocker, local Elvis impersonator.
There we go.
We've got a big following. He
Awesome.
will be there. So the casino runs from 4 to 8. That's Saturday, February 10th. And the Tony Rocker's Elvis show is downstairs in the main stage, and that's from 5 to 7. So you can come and play some games in the casino, go watch Elvis, come back to the casino afterwards. Elvis will come up to the casino for the last hour and take pictures with people. So it's a fundraiser, and a lot of local businesses are donating things for that. So we hope everyone comes out to our first Vegas night, which I hope is our first of many. So yeah, we tried to keep the best of what's been happening at BDACT over all these decades, and the new things that we've started, and even sprinkle some more in. So lots of fun.
Along with preparation, variety really comes to mind. How important is it to have a good mix of, you have Brand New Life, a Dust Bowl musical, making its debut here, but then you also have staples like Grease, and then you
Yeah.
have these new ideas like having an Elvis impersonator in for Vegas night.
Yeah.
How important is it to kind of mix up variety for different groups of people?
Well, I like to say at BDACT we try to prepare an entertainment and educational buffet with lots of choices, so that people can come back again and again. And I worry sometimes we're making too many choices. But there's lots of things for people to do. We need volunteers for all these shows. We are a nonprofit community theater. We need people to audition for all these shows. We will need some 500 some hours of people needed to usher and run concessions and help paint sets and sew costumes, and so we're just putting it out there. All of this is available, and if you love community theater and love to be part of it, please come join us. If you've never done it and you've always wondered about it, please come join us. It's a great place to make friends, build community, develop self-confidence. I started when I was 12 years old with Beaver Dam Community
Wow.
Theater, and now you just put a quarter in me and I can talk forever. So I have no problem with self-confidence when it comes to that, and that's where it started. That's where that started to be built. So
In the spirit of that call to action, where can individuals go if they want to donate, audition, volunteer? Where should they go?
BDACT.org, that's the main website. You can follow us on Facebook, Beaver Dam Area Community Theater. The box office is open on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 4. Or you can always call at 920-885-6891.
All right, so a lot to do pretty much throughout the entire year. You said some like specific dates for certain events will be more clear down the road. Again, I'm here with David Allen Smith and Emily Shire. We've got about a minute before we conclude community comment. Any final, I know we kind of just did a call to action, but any final message either of you or both of you would want to give to anyone watching or listening just about BDACT as we head into 2024?
All yours, Emily.
Well, thank you. I would just add, we are theater for everyone.
Yeah.
So we do have folks that we rely on for running our lights and our sound and the popcorn kernel that runs the popcorn machine. So we need everybody in the community. It's the most fun. My whole family is involved in some way, in very different ways, in volunteering with the community theater, whether they enjoy the spotlight or not. And the other thing I'll say is for those folks who want to join us at our annual event, we are going to be having a visit from Mission Improbable for a sneak preview at our Beaver Dam Area Community Theater's own improv troupe that we're putting
See,
together.
so many things. I forgot
So
that
that was
one. How did I
the
forget
one
that?
See, I like improv. That's
teaser
pretty
I
cool.
wanted
Yeah.
to put out there.
Yes.
We have some really exciting improv folks coming together, which was born out of some networking that happened at our murder mystery dinner theater that came this fall. So really excited to show off. We like to have a little entertainment every year at the annual event. We've had some focus on youth theater and some of our educational programs, but this one's going to be on comedy and improv. So
Awesome.
please join us on February 4th at 11 o'clock.
A lot to look forward to. As you put it perfectly, David, a buffet of education and entertainment, right? So awesome. Thank you so much to David Allen Smith and Emily Shire from the Beaver Dam Area Community Theater. Again, head on over to bdact.org.
Beaver Dam Area Community Theater proudly presents our 60th anniversary season, featuring main stage productions of the world premiere musical Brand New Life, Anastasia the Musical, Seussical, and Lumberjacks in Love. Student performances of One Voice, a mixed-up fairy tale, Finding Nemo Kids, and Grease School version. Music from our Fire and Ice concert series, Abamania, Paddle City Big Band, and Four Guys in Dinner Jackets. And special events including Vegas Night, Improv, Murder Mystery Dinner Theater, and more. Theater for everyone. bdact.org.
Cries of joy will fill the plains if it rains. No more sorrow, no more pain. If it rains, I will dance the whole night through. Hallelujah. If it rains, up your soul. If it rains, listen, children. If it rains, you. Dreamers and schemers, ramblers and gamblers, we're off to Oklahoma to farm our homestead acres. Bankers and bakers, carpenters and wives, we're all headed west to find a brand new life. We'll build a brand new